Hey, Ron.
Did you miss me last week?
We did miss you last week.
Did you miss me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the goatee.
You?
Yeah.
Jan likes it too.
Looks
I
nice.
hate it.
We had a good show though. Last week was good. It was about farming. Shella Sakala was awesome.
Awesome.
Just kind of
She's
going
great.
going through all the stuff she does, teaching everybody what she does about farming. So it was really good. But we do miss you.
Well, it's August 21st.
I know, it's flying by.
We still have COVID.
Yeah.
We have an election coming up. In case anybody missed that.
How could you miss that?
Yeah,
How
right?
would you miss?
How could you possibly miss that?
School's back in.
Yeah, so I've been trying to get a hold of you all week. I know you're really busy, but I heard
right.
I had someone tell me that they took their kids and got together with 10 other families, and they have all their kids and they go to somebody's house and they hired a teacher,
Yeah.
and then so it's live teaching. So the lesson plan is coming in from the school, and they have a live teacher taking the kids through the thing. Have you heard?
I've
That's
heard of a
actually a
lot
good
of
idea.
families doing it.
What a great idea, I thought.
It is a great idea, but it's sad that that's what things have
Yeah,
come
right.
to,
It is.
unfortunately, because ultimately in those type of situations, unless all the kids are in the same grade, they're not really learning the same curriculum. They're not at the same level. So it's a challenge for everyone right now with online school. I think even in those situations, which may be the best option for parents, I know we've hired a tutor to help us 2 days a week do online school with some of our boys because it's a huge challenge on working parents right now.
Do they get combat pay?
They
with
should.
your 5 kids?
They should, yeah, with a bunch of boys. They should. Yes.
Oh, man. So I think what it's telling us is that you just got to adapt, and and that's kind of what we want to talk about today a little bit. We got a serious issue with inventory, and it's not everybody knew it, but it's really rearing its ugly head right now. It's amazing what it's causing. So I've had a couple experiences the past couple weeks with my relocation program that inventory has. I mean, it's taken money out of my pocket, without question. So I had a couple from Chicago come in, and we had identified, over a period of a couple months, maybe 40 or 50 homes. And then by the time they got here, this was 3 weeks ago, there was like 8 to see, and then a couple more popped up. So we kind of got the job done. We didn't actually find anything to get them into. And then last week, I had a couple from Omaha come in, and we identified 62 properties within 2 weeks of them coming here. By the time they got here,
There was 3 available.
three left.
It's a serious issue out there right now, and we're seeing a lot on the lending side as well. By the way, I'm Liz Dysart with the
Oh my
Contact
God!
Team.
Oh my God!
Janet just jumped right into the.
I'm so sorry. I'm an idiot.
Yes, Liz
This is our
Dysart.
guest, Liz
With the
Dysart.
Crawford team at VIP Mortgage. We're one of the power partners here, so thanks for having me
Knock
again.
me
No
out.
problem.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but let's
Wait,
get a little more
he's Michael.
detail.
He's
But-
Mike.
And I'm Michael, but let's get a little more detail on Liz. Liz has a tremendous amount of experience, not just in mortgage, but she has experience in the title business. She has experience in the real estate business as well as the mortgage business. She's also my partner in the UX training program, so
Yes.
she brings a tremendous amount of knowledge to all aspects of real estate. So we
Thank
appreciate
you.
you being back on.
Yeah,
So,
thanks
yeah.
for having me. I
Yeah,
definitely.
talk about Beauty and the Beasts.
Oh,
Right?
hush. I definitely try to stay up on all of the market data right now, especially both on the lending side and the real estate side to help our partners. And I've sponsored Tina Tambor's class, Tina Tambor with the Crawford Report, 2 times in the past week. So I have a lot of great info that we can talk about today and have some dialogue about what's really going on with the market. If you guys don't know Tina Tambor with the Crawford Report, in my opinion, she's the best resource for market data in Maricopa County.
She's amazing.
It's pretty incredible all the different ways that they pull and analyze the data to let us know what's really happening in the market, despite what the media is saying or speculation. And that's a challenge sometimes for consumers. They hear the national media talking about what's going on in our local market, and it doesn't apply at all. Our market is very different than a lot of other parts of the country. So, but to your point, Johnny, I think the biggest issue we have right now in our local housing market is inventory. Because otherwise, home prices have stayed extremely stable and appreciated during COVID, which is shocking. But inventory is 65% below this time last year.
65% below.
65% below normal for supply, and we are 20% above normal for demand.
Wow.
So 65% less homes and 20% more demand than normal.
And throw this in there to make it really crazy. Luxury is up.
On fire.
Sales are up 220%.
Wow.
So talk about being all over the board. And then the trickle down of our inventory issues are, so you find a property, you identify a property, and you go in to write an offer on it. Every single property, I'm going to say 400,000 below, 450 and below, multiple offers.
Absolutely.
Without question. I took a listing last night, and listing present, everything's changed. So as I'm talking to these folks, I'm saying, yeah, look, they don't have 2 dogs. They have a dog and a horse.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever met a bull mastiff?
Yeah. I was going to say,
It weighed
mastiffs
more
are
than
the
me.
biggest.
And
Yeah.
I'm losing weight, but it was 210 pounds, this dog.
Oh.
His head was this, and I'm a little scared of dogs because of something that happened in my childhood.
Oh,
and I was like, is there any way that dog can be? They're like,
Yeah.
oh, he's friendly, just stick your hand out there. And the dog almost took my hand off. So after I cleaned myself, we sat down and talked. But the strategy that we're going to use on that is by appointment only. We're going to have an open house on Saturday, and then we're going to review all offers on Sunday. We haven't even put it on the market yet, and we're putting it on the market a little bit higher than it probably in different times would be. I'd be willing to bet you I get 5 to 10 offers, and they'll all be above X.
Yeah.
And then that's just what's going
Well,
on.
that's kind
So it's
of what's happening right now. You're seeing a lot.
So my question is, why are they appraising? I mean, it's a chicken and the egg thing. It's like, okay, well,
You're right. It is an issue, and
Yeah.
it's a concern to watch out for going forward as well. Because I've heard a story. My home group agent here was telling me he did a flip, and it was a townhouse in North Phoenix type thing. He thought it was worth 190 to 195. I think you know this story because he said you advised him on this.
right?
And went under contract, multiple offers first day, went under contract I think for 205, appraised for 210, felt the contract fell out during the inspection period. You had him relisted at the higher price because it already you
Over.
210, yeah, over appraised value, and then you advised him to list for. And then multiple offers first day again, and he sold it for $10,000 over that, and it appraised.
Over the over.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're hearing these stories, and that to
Come on, appraisal.
me, that's a little bit of a red flag. But at the same time, a home is worth what a buyer is going to pay.
Yeah.
So talk about red flag.
Well, I've heard the other side too, though, guys. I've heard through some friends or realtors and their transactions that appraised below.
Yeah,
So they
I've
were
heard that too.
15,000 below. So
I haven't heard that.
I've heard that too, and what's happening in that case is a lot of people are putting in like appraisal waivers, appraisal contingency
Yeah,
waivers into the contract, where if it doesn't appraise, my buyer will go up to the appraised value with cash, so, or, pay the difference in the appraised value
The
with
tough
cash.
part about that is FHA buyers
Won't do it.
They're just
No.
screwed.
And
There's
why
just
would
nothing
they?
they can do. They can't get a house right now. If somebody's going in with a conventional loan up against an FHA and
No.
you're looking at 5 offers on the table, you have to do what's best for your client. So I have a solution. My home group agents, I have a solution. But talk a little bit more. Let's talk a little bit more about the other effects of our inventory. So far we have for relocation, it's really hard to get people all the way down here, especially when I've been working with them for 6, 8, 9, 18 months. Sending them stuff, and it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And send them, and then finally it's like, okay, we're coming down, and I'm almost like, it's so hot right now. Maybe you should wait, maybe wait a month, or trying to delay it if you can, just because we just don't have anything. So, so inventory is a big issue with relocation people. It's really tough on FHA buyers because they're getting beat out on every contract. The buyers from, I don't know, what do you guys think? 450 and below, 400 and below.
Yeah.
It's multiple offers on
absolutely.
everything.
So here's a stat on that Tina said that was crazy. So 50% of all accepted contracts last week were on the market less than 7 days, and 53% had multiple offers. And this was a crazy stat. For every 100 listings on the market right now, there's 153 in escrow.
Holy
wow.
Yeah, this was last week's data,
Wow.
but yeah, thanks to Tina for providing this wealth of information for us. But yeah, that to me blew my mind. I've never heard anything like that. And you're exactly right. What we're seeing is people are putting offers in on properties that they haven't even seen yet. So literally, we have all these buyers in that 200 to 500 price point that you said is the tightest right now. And they are literally, their agent, we had a situation with one of our buyers this weekend where her agent put in 3 offers for her on Sunday. And we're, as the lender, trying to help her get those offers accepted, right? So we're immediately chiming in, kind of going over how qualified the buyer is, that we verified all their documentation, we verified their closing funds. So a strategy that's worked really well for us is having our agent partners copy us on their offers with the buyers that are pre-qualified with us. And we'll immediately respond to that offer to the listing agent, introducing ourselves, shows a lot of professionalism, and kind of, showing, here's the bullet points on the buyer's qualification. We can close in 30 days, we verified their assets, all the things, blah, 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 blah. They don't need, their credit is great, they don't have any derogatory issues. We've actually prepared a template for our listing agents and our buyer agents both to utilize to help them kind of vet their offers, right? Because that's an issue now, is as a listing agent, when you get 35, how do you know who to pick? So there are, I think, it's definitely, but yeah, this on Sunday, one of our agents, they submitted 3 offers on Sunday for her client without seeing the property, immediately came on the market, didn't get a single one of them.
Wow.
Over asking price offers. So
I've shown more properties with this.
Yeah.
So my Omaha folks, I've shown them, they left on last Monday, and I've shown them 6 properties just doing a FaceTime
Yeah,
show.
doing the FaceTime. Yeah. Well,
Now understand that's there's more to that. I mean, I know these people. I
You
know
know the
what they're
area.
looking for. I spent a week with them, so when I walk in a house, I can see they're not gonna like this. I know right off the bat.
Well, when you
So
do
it's
the due
different.
diligence up front, you can really have that kind of
Yeah.
relationship when it comes to looking for homes for your clients, because you've asked all the important questions up front to really find out what they're looking for. And that's what every agent should do anyway. I mean,
Yes.
it shouldn't be showing 50 homes. It should be showing 5 or 6 that fit exactly what they're looking for.
Let me go back to something that you said, because I have short-term memory. I'm
Yeah.
an idiot. So I would not, if I'm an agent, and I've spoken with, I work up here in the senior ring, so there's a lot of experience up in this
Yeah,
little hallway
there is.
that I work in. I mean, between Neil Brooks and Carl Eisenberg. So we have conversations about this all the time. And I want to throw out a little Katie Pendergraft. Pendergraft?
I don't know.
She's great, new young agent,
Yeah.
she's killing it. I talked to her one day and I said, you should sit up here and you'd be amazed what you hear. Sure enough, Katie's been up here, sitting out here doing her work and listening, and she comes in my office and says,
Awesome.
hey, what do you think about this? And kudos to you. Hats off to you, Katie, good job. And she sold a listing, took another, she's killing it, but she's gaining info. So one of the things that we're talking about, I would not write an offer right now without pre-qualification. But with the pre-qualification, not just this is my family and they're moving here from this and they've got 2 kids and they love the school district, and all that stuff is great, and telling a story, sometimes that heart thing will get you the property. But right now, if your lender isn't on board with you to help you get properties,
It's very difficult.
if there's 5 offers looking there, you better look great. I mean, so let's say you're conventional, 20% down, we'll close whenever's good for you, we'll use your title company, which sucks for title partners because it's kind of hard to argue with it right now, because you don't want to lose the deal because of that. And I fight for my title company every chance I get. Right now it's a little difficult, but lenders they're going above and beyond the call of duty. They're saying, first they're explaining, okay, so VIP is a local company. Our LOs can walk down the hall, talk to our underwriters and say, Liz, I didn't understand this. What can you explain to me what this? So it's not like they're going to make a phone call and there's an email. And you gotta put that on paper with your offer. It's got to be. They're not just pre-approved. They've got plenty of money in this and that. You got to do a full-on expose about what your buyers look like, because it gloves it off.
That brings me to a question for Liz, really, and that is, I used to be in lending, all that, but Do you think that as a lender now, you're doing more than just like the DU approval? Like,
Yes.
and for people to know that's an automated underwriting
Desktop
process.
underwriting.
But I've noticed, and I know VFP mortgages are amazing, that lenders are going even farther than that. So it's not just getting the DU approved, it's actually getting everything in. So do you find you're doing more approvals that are, I don't want to say maybe underwritten, but pending appraisal and contract, basically? Are you guys doing more, like getting closer to where everything's looked at already? So it's not about just getting that underwriting approval and then you have conditions. You're really kind of collecting everything and saying, oh, we're really ready to go.
100%.
Yeah.
We feel that is a disservice to our clients if we're not doing that right now because of the urgency in our market. So we are spending more time upfront with our borrowers, really educating them on what the market is like and encouraging them, to get their docs into us as soon as possible, because we are going to help you get your offer accepted. The more knowledge that we have, the more that we've vetted your qualification, the better. So we ask for all documentation up front. We verify everything that we can, income, assets, employment, everything we look through it as much as we can as an underwriter would to ensure that when we issue that pre-qual, and the offer gets approved, they're gonna have no problem closing.
Right.
So
for what it's worth too,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna use VIP because Liz is here. VIP is a company that's done that before.
Yeah,
I mean,
we have.
that's something that was.
100.
So it's not like,
Kind of a
oh, we
standard
got to
that
do
they
stuff
had,
different
yeah.
now. VIP was kind of there before. I mean, you could call any LO and say, hey, I need a pre-qual and get ready to write an offer. Any LO can get your pre-qual in 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, but there's a difference
There's a
between what we're
difference
talking
between-
about of getting just a prequel
Big
versus what they're
difference.
doing.
But
Yeah.
you have to tell the sellers that story. You can't let them assume anything. You have to tell
Yeah.
the story. So I'm not sure what VIP is doing as far as documentation that they're sending other than the pre-qualification. But I know some lenders are sending almost like a resume.
that's what
Basically they're sending like a resume, and this is something that lenders are doing. So what's the point here? If your lender isn't going above and beyond the call of duty to help you get your offers approved, you better look at either get them on the ball or
find
start
someone that's doing it.
talk to Liz and see what
Talk to
Stuart's
Liz.
doing, and
Yeah.
because they got to be part of this equation.
It's
And then we go right back to the team thing. Now it's not just the realtor trying to. Now everybody's trying to work to get it done. So
Yeah.
And we've been talking about for weeks now about how important it is to have the right power
So
partners.
And now it's
they're
like,
they're ahead of the game. They're
100%.
they're 10 seconds out of the gate already before the bell's even gone off. So.
The thing that we've found is, unfortunately, because of the insane volume that the lending industry is seeing right now due to where rates are, most mortgage companies are experiencing like 3 times their normal volume. And that's a lot of it is refi based, right? A lot of people are refining because of where rates are, saving tons of money. But what's happened is because of that huge influx in volume, a lot of companies weren't equipped for that, right? So service levels have dropped in a lot of cases. So we've heard a lot of stories where, I can't get a call back for days. We're really delayed. I have never gotten any updates on all these things, because what's happening is people are sinking with the volume, right? And what we're seeing is that the great lenders and the teams that already had their systems in place, like we did, and like the other power partners here, we are shining because we've always prioritized our resale business. Purchase business is our bread and butter. We've never been a refi-driven team. We don't purchase leads,
Don't get me wrong, they'll
we do a lot of refis right now. Yeah.
Call those if you need
But
refis.
what we do is that we prioritize our purchase transactions, and VIP as a company does, because we have to take care of our realtor partners and our buyers, right, that have move-in dates and closing dates to adhere to. So we always are going to prioritize purchase business in order to keep that lifeblood going. And refi business, we can push a refi out 45 days or 60 days, and that doesn't impact a homeowner versus
Right.
a new buyer. So I think what's happening is the great lenders are able to provide this extra service level. And then there are some that are having trouble, and it's been, nice for us because some of our agent partners who we'd worked with in years past, who found a different lender that they worked with for a time period, have come back to us because they've said, I'm not getting the service that I need right now, and I know we'll get it from you guys.
So the grass wasn't greener?
Yeah, so we've had lots of people come back, which has been great, and
I'm refining right now, and it's a 60-day process.
it is.
And they told me going in, Johnny, it's just not going to be real.
No.
Quick, so yeah.
And as long as you set those expectations up front, the consumers are fine, right? It's just when it's taking longer than they expect, or they weren't given the appropriate information up front. But what we're finding is that, my son's preschool teacher dropped her off the other day. She knows what I do. We had a conversation, and she says, I've called 3 banks to try to refi, and I've not gotten a single one to call me back. Her primary loan's with Wells Fargo. She cannot get a call back for refi, and she said, why, I'm sure, why would they want to refi me? They already have my loan at a higher payment, right? Why would they want me to save money? So that's where the great, smaller, privately held mortgage companies can really help consumers, because we would love to help you refi. So, we're helping her right now. So it's, I said, when do you want us to call you?
Well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's certain mortgage companies that aren't really in the mortgage business.
Mm-hmm.
You guys put 2 and 2 together on that one.
Consumer banking institutions.
Wells Fargo does I bank with Wells Fargo, and I had somebody tried to join some English soccer fan club thing, and they called me. They're like, "Are you really into soccer?" I'm like, "No, I don't know anything about soccer." They're like, "Well, you're trying to join a fan club." I'm like, "No," and that was Wells Fargo. They caught it and called me, and so they're great.
That's awesome.
But their main business is not mortgages.
Right.
So, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well,
Where was that train?
I would ask you a question. So his rates are historically low.
Yes.
Right. So
they have gone up a bit in the past 2 weeks. They hit, literally the lowest they've ever been since 1971, 2 or 3 weeks ago now. And they got down to 2.88, and now last week.
Wow, that's just wow.
Yeah, and that's a Freddie Mac national average for a 30-year fixed. It did include a small bit of discount points that were paid, so they take the aggregate of all the data, right? So every borrower's situation is specific due to their situation. But
and then they just added that half point.
It ticked up a little. Well, that's only on refinances.
On refis, they added a half.
So we'll talk about that real quick. So then rates rose quickly, not quickly, but the last 3 weeks there was slight upticks in rates, and so now I think last week it was 2.99 for a 30-year fixed, 2.5 for a 15-year fixed. But that huge announcement last week about the half point fee for refinances now, which is making everyone in our industry very angry and frustrated, and everyone's contacting,
But it really is not that big of a difference. I mean, it's like $1,400 or something, and if you take that
it's not
over 6 months, you're talking about a 30-year loan. It's nothing. I mean,
no, you're right. Except it's still just frustrating because they titled it adverse market impact fee, and they can do it. And it's why would you steer consumers away from making a great financial decision by refinancing if that's in their best interest, and create any more barriers for them? So it's a little frustrating, but you're right. Overall, not a huge deal.
What do you think low rates in relation to low inventory? Do you think more people are just staying put because rates are so low and they just can get that low rate, or do you think that has an impact?
So I think it does have an impact, and I think what we're seeing a little bit, and I think there's a lot of speculation on why the government instituted that fee. And part of it was because they were saying, obviously money, but part of it was they were saying, our industry, the lending industry, was getting inundated with refinances, that it was affecting purchase transactions. And they said, the thought maybe was that they're trying to keep purchase transactions prioritized so that more people choose to buy rather than refi. Because what we're seeing here is a lot of homeowners that have a ton of equity in their home that could sell right now and make a ton of money and either upgrade or whatever, but they have nowhere to go, right? So especially, like Johnny said, the luxury market is fueling our increase right now. So Tina gave a stat real quick that I wanted to mention. that under contract is 16% higher than 2019, but it's being fueled by luxury. So it's not in the lower price points, it's in the higher price points. And, July was the best July ever in MLS. So we have this.
What do you mean was the best month ever at MLS?
For listings in July listings were up 14% in July over June, and July was the best time ever for under contract closings.
But that could be another reason those that do have that, we can move to the higher
Well, that's
category
exactly-
because of the lower rate, right? Because now
We're just
the
eating
payment
the
isn't.
foundation though, and then everything's.
I know. So that's what I think is happening, is that a lot of people who would sell, right, and cash out, are able to refi and get their payment down by $500 a month, and then
So,
it makes more sense to
let's
stay in their
stay.
home. So I think that is affecting inventory a little bit, because people aren't listing that maybe would, because they know there's such an inventory issue, so and then I've heard of stories, like I know 2 families who are cashing out on their house right now. They know it's top of the market, they're gonna make a ton of money, and they're literally getting an RV and doing a cross-country road trip with their family.
wow.
I know 2 families here locally that have done that in, really nice homes, that they're basically saying the kids aren't in school anyway.
Which
We
they
can
could
make
do remote
500
learning
grand
anyway,
by
so-
selling our house. We can work remotely. We're using this as an opportunity to get out of town.
Come on, really?
Yes, and I think
Yeah.
we're going to see more of that.
What was the movie? What was the movie?
You could do everything on the road.
I don't know.
They decide to sell everything, and then they stop in Vegas, and she blows the whole nest.
There's one 4 houses down from us, a family that's doing that right now, and
Not
it's
the ones with the little horses.
next to that.
No.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
But
So
but in a way, I kind of feel like that's kind of a neat experience, because those kids, that family, get to have that experience, but at the same time, still do the work, still go to school.
Yeah.
So, kind of a
I
neat
think it's
idea.
really cool too. And the homeowner, he's a builder primarily, but he's also an agent. And so he sees the writing on the wall with this market. He said, I know they actually had built the house to be their primary family residence. And he's like, I have got to take advantage of this market right now, because he's going to be able to capitalize. And he thinks, which, right, none of us have a crystal ball, that maybe the market would soften next year, and then they could come back and buy more than they could right now. So,
Well, we have
who
to think
knows?
that at some point,
Who knows?
it's gonna have to change. You can't stay this way forever. I mean, at some point, right? It's
But
gonna have to.
we're between a rock and a hard
Yeah.
place right now. So I can tell you 3 people that I know in my little subdivision that I've talked to, and they're like, yeah, Johnny, we wouldn't mind putting our house on the market. We're gonna make great money out of it. Where are we gonna go?
Where are we gonna go?
What am I
And the
gonna
rental,
find?
the problem is too, is that the people who said, said, okay, well then I'll just sell my house and rent for a year. The rental market has literally never been this hot.
Right.
Rental rates have gone up $120 by this time last year for the same home. So an 1,800 square foot,
So why would they
3-bedroom,
sell it?
single family home, $120 more expensive per month than it was last year.
It was $1 a foot. Now it's $1.20.
It's
$1.50.
crazy.
But the same issue with the investors. So not only they're enjoying the higher return, but if they were to sell because of equity, where are they going to go? Because then if they're looking to
That's
invest.
what I just
in
said.
more-
That's people-
So I mean, so it's
so
not
that-
just the regular homeowners; it's the investors too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Before we move on from rates, let's talk for just a second. Let's be real about rates. So I was in lending, you were in lending, you're in lending. Realistically, this under 3 rate, while yeah, it's good, it's really not good. I mean, ultimately,
For the overall
rates
picture,
rates
right.
need to be at 6. So and hear me out for a second, because I know everybody's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Why would you say that,
Yeah.
Chuck? Yeah.
Ultimately, so the banks aren't making any money at 2.8 or 3.25. They're just not making money. That's bad, because the banks are the backbone of our economy. So it's eating away at our foundation. When we get rates at 6, come on, guys, 6 is a great rate. I mean, my first house, I was at 13.5 or something. So at 6%, 5%, banks are making money. Well, what does that do? It causes trickle-down economics. When banks are making more money, you don't see strip centers with stores empty. You don't, it just boosts the economy. I was gonna say something, but that would be political, so I'll stay away from that. But But yeah, at 6% is ultimately where it's good for
I would
everybody.
agree
At
with you.
6%, the average American can still afford a mortgage payment. The average. I mean, there's going to be
Yeah.
one-offs here and there and all that. But these rates, I mean, take advantage of them.
Yeah,
Nobody's going to tell you not to.
absolutely, yeah.
But realistically, they have to go up. They have to go up.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't go down. They're certainly not going down. That's it. It's not. It can't.
Well, I mean,
Well, there are
there
people
is
saying
that
there
they
is
could.
negative interest rate, so there is
So I was
such a
gonna
thing as
touch on
that.
that.
I don't know if we'd ever get to it, but
So
Ugh.
there's this big kind of debate going on right now. I watch a lot of news basically relating to rates and stuff. So Market Watch had a great article on Monday that the headline was "Mortgage rates keep falling while they finally drop to 0%," and they're talking about how outside the U.S. there's a lot of lenders offering mortgages with negative interest rates to stimulate the housing market. And I mean, if that ever, none of us want that to happen here, because that would be a sign of a very struggling economy, which we obviously wouldn't want. So typically that's preceded by some sort of major economic event, crisis situation, which hopefully,
Global pandemic.
but usually even worse. So, but they were talking about how, in other countries that's happened, and but how long it took. So they said, I think it was Denmark. Yeah. So we watch the federal funds rates as an indicator of what could happen with mortgage rates. So we look at the 10-year treasury and the federal funds rates as an indicator of what's going to happen with rates. Usually rates are a lagging measure of what's happening with the financial markets. So with that though, they're saying that in Denmark, the central bank rates were at 0 for 5 years before rates got to 0. So this would be something that if rates were ever to go down that low, it wouldn't be next year, it wouldn't be 2022, it would be 2025 before, and it would be preceded by a horrible event, which I don't think anybody wants, right? But what they were saying was that the Fed has come out and said that they don't want that to happen. I have actually a quote here. Let me find it. But yeah, the Fed has said that they have no interest in getting rates that low because it would put us into a bad recession.
You don't need to be an economist
No.
to see how that would be a negative for our country. I mean, it's really seriously negative interest.
Yeah.
Not a good thing.
No, not a good thing at all.
Anyway,
so Freddie Mac forecasted for next year that the 30-year fixed would average 3.2 in 2021. So not that they're going to continue to go down, but they are going to stay low for next year is what Freddie Mac is predicting, one of the biggest government agencies out there, right? But the Federal Reserve said, I'm trying to find this quote here because it was really good. I can't find it, sorry. I thought I had it and I don't. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see a huge drop in rates. I hope that we don't.
I don't think they can drop much further.
no, I don't either.
Well, the problem is,
At a certain point, banks can't afford to.
No,
do
they
anymore.
can't. There are carrying costs, right, to service these loans, and that's what I think a lot of consumers don't understand. But the banks have a lot of overhead to be able to run these programs and service the loans, sell the loans, have somebody originate the loans, they pay them, so there's the whole process. So if it goes much lower, it would ultimately be negative on the industry. However, there are companies that are coming out with lower rates. So there's this shocking thing, Quicken a few weeks back announced it was like a 2.05 rate on a 15-year, and then United Wholesale Mortgage came out last week and shocked the world with a 1.99% 30-year fixed interest rate that they're advertising.
Wow.
However, it's not really real. And that's what is so frustrating is consumers see these products being advertised this low, but that is not available to the average consumer without paying a huge cost. So to get your rate that low on an average loan size in Maricopa County, you'd have to pay $11,000 in discount points on top of your closing costs and your down payment.
And
Most
if you
consumers
actually
don't have that.
do the math on that, what you're paying to get that, and what you think you're saving, you're not really saving that much.
No.
It might take you 8 years to recoup that before you actually see the savings.
And you're probably not gonna be in that property anymore.
No.
Right, because the average life is 4 to 7 years, right, of a loan average, somewhere in there, but yeah. Let's go back to inventory for a second.
Yeah.
What do you think, because of COVID, there were a lot of people that took advantage of forbearance and things like that. What kind of impact do you see that being? Now, my personal opinion is, and from what I'm seeing, is that it's not as bad as what it seems. However, people still took advantage of it. Do you think that's going to have an impact on inventory? In the short sale or foreclosure thing, do you think that? I know some people were thinking that we're going to have another foreclosure boom. I don't see
No.
having a big foreclosure boom. I do think that there's always going to be foreclosures, things like that. But what do you feel like is happening with that, with the people that did that?
So that's kind of like a multi-layered question, but we'll try to get to it. So the first part of it is, yes, forbearance. A lot of homeowners, millions, I think, 4.9 or something, took advantage of it. It has been declining. The number of overall homeowners in forbearance has declined for the 8th straight week.
That's good news.
Huge news.
Yeah.
As unemployment is going down, people are getting their jobs back. They're able to go in, due to the CARES Act. There was a lot of options available for homeowners that weren't able to pay their mortgage due to COVID, which is amazing. I thought that was great. It saved a lot of people from losing their homes. They extended the foreclosure moratorium through August, meaning that they couldn't foreclose on anyone. Even people who went into default in February before COVID, it protected them. There's talk of extending the foreclosure moratorium
To the
again.
end of the year? I think that's what I heard. To the end of the year? Okay.
They're talking about it. It's right now. They're working on it. It's in the next bill called the HEROES Act, but because everyone's on break right now, we'll see. But the thing is that I think the communities have done a great job of giving options to people, even renters, to keep them in their homes. Because what happened is all these investor owners were like, if my tenant isn't paying the rent, that's going to screw me, right? So there are all of these programs available, both to help homeowners and renters. Obviously forbearance for homeowners, but there's a ton of grants. ArizonaTogether.org. There's over like $120 million available to people. It's like anyone to stay in their homes. That's federal or state funded programs. I have articles for all this stuff, so if anybody wants it, reach out to me. But for renters that are in homes and having trouble, there are lots of programs and money available as grants to keep people in their homes, so that we don't see this huge issue of foreclosure, because that would be obviously terrible.
Of course, yeah.
for everyone. So I think that that is. I don't see it really affecting inventory, hopefully, because of all the programs that have been offered. Now, one thing I think is that we could see the people that took forbearance, it's affected their credit, right? So what I think we will see, and actually some of the new acts, they've loosened up on the restrictions that they were going to place on the people in forbearance. Before, it was like they wanted to see out of forbearance for a certain number of months. Now it's only 3 months after you're current, you can be eligible to get a new loan. So that's going to be really helpful.
That'll be very helpful.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think I really don't see, as long as forbearance keeps declining, unemployment keeps declining, and there's no major huge event that impacts our housing market, I don't really see an onslaught of problems. And Tina didn't either, so I was really happy to hear that.
Good news. So
Now I want to throw something out here. So for all agents that are watching this, whether you're been in the business forever, you're new, it's imperative that you understand all of this stuff we're talking about. It's not just, hello, I can find you a house, I can write the contract. There's a lot of discussions you need to have with your clients, and I guarantee you that anybody that's been in this business a long time understands everything that we're talking about here. It's vitally important that you be the expert on this stuff. So, even though we'll do it again at the end, what's a way that if people have questions, they can get a hold of you and answer questions? And I'm going to throw something out here. She's going to throw something at me here in a second, but Liz is the kind of person that's going to help you. She'd appreciate your business, don't get me wrong, but she's never going to turn away and say, no, I'm not helping you because I'm not getting your business. She has a wealth of knowledge and can help you. So tell us quickly, how can people get a hold of you?
So my email is lizd@vipmtginc.com. On Facebook, Liz Dysart, you can send me a direct message. One thing that our team does is we offer weekly lending updates via Zoom. We have one, I believe, next Tuesday. So anyone that's interested, send me a direct message. We cover all this stuff. We cover rates, we cover forbearance, we cover current headlines and things we're seeing in the market. We talk about a little bit about what we're seeing on the the local market side, on the real estate side. So that's a way that we really feel that we help educate our partners and ultimately agents in the community to be able to have these discussions.
And nobody
Kelly will
expects
probably put her information in there as well, so if you didn't get that, I'm sure it'll
and
be
nobody
in
expects
the
realtors to know everything about this, but you dang well better be able to, at least scratch a surface with some knowledge on this kind of stuff, because it's going to come up, and then it just makes you look better when it gets to a certain point where it's like past your pay grade. Then it's really smart to just say, I understand it, but I don't think I can explain it well enough. Let me put you in touch with Liz, or let me put you in touch with somebody that can help, or let me go get the answer to that question. And if there's ever been a time that there's no such thing as a stupid question fits, it's right now, because there's no such thing as a stupid question right now.
No, there isn't.
Everything has changed. We've never seen this. I mean, we're walking on new ground here. So don't be afraid to ask questions.
And
somebody said a combined list would be great for my home group agents. Ginger cutting a combined list of what? I'm not sure what she was talking about.
I don't know.
Ginger, let us know what a combined list you're looking for is, and maybe we can answer that. Kelly just put Liz's information up on the page. Yeah. And then Gabriel Hernandez says, what was the stat that says 53%?
I'll go back to my notes and tell him. I believe it was, let's see here.
Okay, write in and let us know what you were referring to. That was kind of a while ago. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
This stuff was interesting.
I have, for every 100 listings, there was 153 in escrow last week, so I don't know if maybe that's what he was referring to, Gabriel, but
could be.
Yes, and then 50% of accepted contracts last week were on the market less than 7 days. So 33% of properties closing over listing price, and that's excluding all the pre-market listings that never even made it to the MLS. So that's even a skewed stat.
Wow. So let me throw out some solutions. So we got all the bad news out.
Yeah.
Let's go to some good news. So good news is my home group has 2,600 agents.
We're approaching right in there.
2,600 agents.
Plus.
And we have 17% of the market share on listings.
We have a large market share out there.
Okay. So put all that together, and I don't claim to be the smartest guy in the room, but I was able to figure this out, that if we have that big of a share of listings, I got to tell you that, and it's worked for me, that if you find a property that's listed by my home group agent, make a phone call and say this is what you want to say. Look at your client is going to get X for this house. Let's decide what that number is. All I'm asking is that my client give you that money. Okay, you're gonna offer to get that figure from 10 people. All I'm asking is, let's keep it in house. Let's make it a my home group deal. And I'm asking you that my clients qualify. It's not like they'll go in there and go, these guys probably can't qualify. I mean, be real, because they're gonna have to take the best offer. But I've done that and it worked. If we can keep it in the family, it's just good for everybody. It's everybody wins.
And hopefully agents are utilizing the mastermind group for your buyer needs too. So if you have a need, I have a buyer that's looking for, hopefully you're all using that platform to let all the other My Home Group agents know. And so if there's something that is coming up, like you mentioned, the pre-market, so you have that 24 hours, so there's a lot that happens in there. So why not post it? You should be posting it out there.
This mastermind group, every day somebody's going, hey, I need an electrician for this area. I need Tim Lichty was looking for a landscaper or something the other day, or an appliance repairman. And like 18 people got back to him. So
Yeah,
you
it's
should
a
definitely
great
use it.
resource.
Let's go to some more kind of more positive stuff. So,
I have a few too.
so one thing that this quarantine has done is it's making people, and I'm not being chauvinistic, but normally the man goes to work. Okay, so but now he's at home all the time, and now he's walking around the house going, man, that gate's broken. I really need to fix that. And it's been on the honey-do list, but he maybe never saw it. So the wife's getting madder and madder, and now he's seeing it. So, but the other thing is, there's a lot of people spending more time in their house, and they're thinking, man, we should move. I mean, maybe it's time to move. How many kids do we have now? This house is getting full. So that's one thing. The other thing is, when I show properties, I have a system that I use, and when I take people through the property, I'll look at them and I'll more look at the lady and say, look at. My first question is going to be, does this floor plan, does this whole arrangement work for you? In other words, do you sleep in or do you sleep in? Do you get up for coffee? Do you do this in the morning, work out over and don't want to wake somebody? Just does the house fit first? So if it's a yes, the next question is, okay, give me a 1 to 10. So they'll say yes, and I'll give this a 7. Well, why a 7? What's good, what's bad? My new question is now, does this property work? And I'll look at them and I'll go, can you see yourself quarantining in this home? And people are like,
no, but it's kind of an important question because
kind of, right?
I think people's needs have changed a lot with housing. Like they need offices.
Let me take that one step further because
Yeah.
I'm going to go right into that. So I just sold a couple of Lennar homes that have the next gen thing. So it's like an apartment inside the home, separate garage, separate entry, separate kitchen, washer. Beautiful home. And I was talking to the guy at Lennar, one of the higher ups that's not in the sales department, so he wasn't full of baloney trying to sell me something. And I said, what changes do you see? And I hate using this word, but the new normal, where people, I don't think people are going back to offices anytime soon. My son was just informed that his office is not opening up at least till next June. So, and he lives in the Bay Area, and he's like, I'm out. I'm gonna go home because he can work from home.
I actually read an article on that a lot of people they're letting them, they're not gonna open back up. So
Right.
a lot of people are moving even out of those cities and still working.
Wait, before we get there, because I'm gonna lose this. So, the thing is the next gen was one thing that Lennar came up with that's very popular. The new thing is they're now building office rooms, and the difference is it doesn't have a bedroom, it doesn't have a closet. It's an office and a bathroom.
Oh, interesting.
And like a storage room.
Yeah.
So it's like a home, like it's a built-in home office. Can you still put a day bed in there for company and stuff like that? Yeah, but the most important thing is it's an office and a bathroom, because it's now you're at
Workplace.
and that's gonna be kind of
It's interesting.
where
right?
things are going to a little bit of a new normal. Now we can talk about how offices are closed. I mean, lots of offices are closed.
Yeah.
But they're allowing the employees to live in other states and they can still do their job. So a lot of remote working. So
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the biggest corporations in the country have announced that they're not going back to work this year or even until the end of next year. I know like Google, Oracle, like a lot of the biggest companies in Bay Area, Silicon Valley have all said that. And so I think we are going to see people's housing needs change because they can't be cooped up all day in their tiny 1-bedroom apartment in San Francisco, and they could afford, for that $2,300 payment in San Francisco, they can get a beautiful home here. So we're seeing a ton of people migrate from California, and then obviously with that wealth tax that they just proposed, I think we're going to see even more of the wealth leave California. So it's interesting, but what we're seeing is that's fueling our luxury market. So Johnny mentioned this earlier, but we're on the luxury side. A lot of the offers are coming from people from California.
And
we're
action
gonna see,
causes reaction.
Yeah, we're going to see more of that.
So think about all these offices. I'm going to use my son's company as an example because it's near and dear to me, and I get it. They're not reopening until June. Well, he could do his job
Here.
sitting at Starbucks. He could come and visit me at the office here. He could be at Lake Tahoe in a chalet. Do it as long as you got internet. You can do it anywhere. So and take that to the extreme, where his job is in San Francisco. Not really.
No.
I mean, it could be in Chicago, it could be in Florida, it could be here. I mean, it can certainly be somewhere where the rent's way
less,
way cheaper. So now let's take that and use the trickle down. All of a sudden, what about all those offices that are now realizing brick and mortar, workman's comp? I don't have any in-house work issues, human resources. There's less chance for issues. I mean, people are looking at that and thinking, how much are we spending a year on brick and mortar to have this office when so you watch, there's going to be new
commercial,
companies.
yeah.
Somebody's going to get really smart and come up with the stuff that has to have in an office. It's going to be like Kinko's. Now you can do shipping and copying and all that. But you watch, it'll now, there'll be new businesses popping up that are going to be ancillary to help those people that no longer want to pay rent. This big, huge $200,000 a month rent for this company when nobody's in it. You know, so that's going to have its trickle down. So then we're going to see some issues with empty buildings.
The commercial side is going to be
I mean,
tough for a while.
It's going to be
But
really
I think
tough.
what we're going to see is more of the shared workspaces popping up, because I know
Define a shared workspace
So
for.
yeah, this popped up a few years ago. They started to become popular where it's like a co-op.
Oh, Regent,
Yes.
right.
Where, but not even like that, where you rent a specific office, but there's these places where it's a huge commercial building where they have some cubicles that first come,
Conference
first
rooms.
serve, conference rooms, copiers, backdrops to do videos for yourself. They have call booths, they have printers in
Right.
this, they have a receptionist, they have meeting areas, and where you pay a monthly membership to utilize the shared workspace rather than having your own physical office. You can just go in and use whenever you need. I think we're going to see more of that though, because what I do think is that there are some people who thrive working from home with productivity and there's others who don't. And so if companies are not going to be offering a physical place for employees to work, there has to be another solution for those people who are more productive working in an office type
Workplace
setting.
environment,
Yeah.
right.
So I think we'll see more of those popping up. And there needs to be places for companies to do like big meetings, right? Like they still need a big place where they
to
can
meet,
have
yeah.
their quarterly company
Right.
meeting and bring everyone in. So I think we're going to see workspaces that allow that, where you're going to do your corporate meeting and it's going to be all day on a Thursday in January. We'll set it up for you. We'll get your lunch and breakfast. We'll have all your branding up. We'll get your water. So the company then just pays a service to basically offset, right, a lot of the things that they're losing by the culture and all the things of not having a physical office. You can just leverage other options that are out there to do the same thing.
What does VIP's office look like? I mean, that's a
Yeah.
big, huge, beautiful office.
Yes.
Is it half? Is it what's it look like?
We're less than half, I'd say right now. We are the benefit, right, is that I think our company did a great job of making sure everyone was set up quickly to work from home. So our tech support was jumping right in to help everybody set up their office setups, take all their equipment to make sure that they could do their job just as well from home as they could from the office. Obviously, there are certain departments that we need in the office. We have to be able to send and accept closing packages and all that type of stuff. So we do have a lot of our operations back in the office, but our company kind of took the approach of, until we knew what was going to happen with this pandemic, we're going to err on the side of caution. So they said, unless you can't work from home, if you're a person who doesn't really have an option to be productive at home, you're absolutely welcome to come back in the office. But for those people who are productive and are able to work from home, we'd encourage you to stay. And then what they did is it was like people that volunteered to come back to the office. So there was a sign-up list of people who wanted to come back. And anyone with a physical office with a closed door was able to come back. But like me, but anybody who was in more of a shared work type space, they did a great job of 8 feet between workstations and everything to keep everyone safe.
Yeah.
But our office is still closed to the public, meaning we're not having consumers come in and meet with us directly in the office anymore, to just be safe. And because our thought was, if we bring consumers into the office and bring sickness into the office, and our whole operations staff gets sick, that affects our whole company livelihood. So we're erring on the side of caution.
Okay, so we got a couple minutes left, and I refuse to make this political. It's not a political statement. we live in a time of COVID. Everything has changed. I went and took a listing last night and I had a mask on the whole time. And it's hot and it's uncomfortable and I don't like it. But you gotta do it. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. We're in the most divisive state right now in our country, and I'm not telling you which side is right and which side is wrong. Here's what I'm gonna tell you, and you guys can jump in on this. Be kind. Listen. If somebody has a differing opinion than you, don't go off the handle. Son of a, it's silly. Stop. Listen. Be respectful. I disagree with you. And just disagree. But on the other hand, if someone asks you to wear a mask, wear a mask. It's not that difficult. I hate the mask. I stand on one side of the aisle or the other about masks. I'm not going to tell you where I'm at on it, but out of respect for mankind and like other people that, if Liz asked me to her house and said, Johnny, would you mind wearing a mask? I do it. I hate it, but I do it because I care for Liz and that's what Liz asked. Same thing, if I got in your car, you told me, Johnny, can you put on a mask? I'd probably take my own car. All right, but seriously, so adjust. We all need to make adjustments. Just like everything we talked about today with inventory, with the stats that Tina gave us, and all this stuff, it all takes respect of each other, and you just gotta take a step back. And there was a line in the movie, hey man, it was The Big Lebowski. Nothing is F here, man. It's all cool. You just gotta relax. Everybody just relax. Stop hating on each other and beating each other up, and we can get through this.
Absolutely.
You guys in?
Yeah, I'm in.
All right. I don't know where Kelly is, so we can't turn off the camera.
She's probably on her way up.
And I think the air conditioner went out. Did anybody hear that go off? My Irish blood is going, man, it's hot here.
One
Did
thing
we
I
have
will
any
say,
questions?
if anyone wants them, I have a bunch of great links to a lot of market information, lending and finance information, of great articles that you can share with your clients, right? Because sometimes our clients say, well, I think rates are going to continue dropping, and here's a great article by an expert that tells them maybe why that's not going to happen. So if anybody wants those, feel free to email me, and then also we'll put the information about our lending class next week, the update for
Absolutely, I think
anybody
that
who wants to tune
would
in.
be hugely valuable for anybody. They should participate. So
Yeah, be smart. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody can tell you what's going to happen. Everybody has an opinion. But I will tell you this: that no matter what, knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you can talk to your clients. If it's an opinion, it's kind of like politics, okay? Politics right now, stop watching the news, by the way, because you can watch one show and it'll tell you that this phone is black, and then another show will tell you, well, it's really not, because it's all spin, it's all crazy. Take facts, and rely on facts. Leave opinion to opinion. Same thing with your clients. If they've got an opinion, let them have an opinion. Give them your opinion on where you think stuff's going, and let it ride from there. We good?
all right, awesome.
All right.
Well, thanks so much, Liz, for coming in.
Wear red on Fridays. Go to my Facebook page. I put this big thing on there. It got shared like 90 times about red on Fridays. Please look it up. It's to support our troops.
Have a great weekend. See you next week.
Thank you.
See ya. Kelly's wearing red.
Here's my uniform on
I
Friday.
know, I like it.
I wake up and don't even think. I wear it every